Hi everyone, I'm really excited to bring you a video today on how to become the best call center team leader. So let's jump straight in with our first tip. First tip for being a great team leader is to help your team to find meaning in their work. And this starts by telling the team why what they do is so important. Remember, many people are motivated at work by having a sense of purpose in what they do. Much of this purpose comes down to your organization's culture, but you can build on this using sentences like, when you did this, the positive impact of that was. Making these connections can be very powerful as you're not only recognizing good performance, but you're getting your agents super engaged in the customer experience. So make sure that you don't just tell the customers how to do them, but also tell them why they should be doing that too. So the advisor starts to recognize the real benefits of adapting their behavior. Tip number 2 is to give people a sense of personal progression. The days in which people sense that they're making progress are often the days in which people feel motivated and engaged. So we want to give employees the idea that they're making progress day after day. One way to do this is by constantly providing advisors with little tips and tricks to help them do things differently. Yet we need a structured approach to this. Maybe changing our focus to a different part of the advisor role each month and tracking their personal improvement through a specific quality focus is one way to approach this topic. But I think the main thing is that we just think about it like this. If we learn how to do something today that we didn't know how to do yesterday, we get that sense of progress, moving forward and getting better. And this is great to instill within your teams, and this is a great thing to do as a team leader. Tip number 3 is to engage in an exercise that I like to call strength spotting. Many leaders focus too heavily on helping their agents to overcome certain weaknesses, such as a consistent missed criteria on their quality scorecards, perhaps, or a consistently missed metric score. Whilst these performance gaps are important to spot, they shouldn't dominate conversations between a leader and an advisor. Otherwise, when advisors go into their coaching conversations, they'll start to feel a little sense of dread. So help your team to improve by actively helping each person to understand where their strengths lie and giving them the chance to exploit those great strengths. You can maybe do this by encouraging an agent to coach the rest of their team on their area of expertise, or create engaging learning materials around that topic too. This tactic is what we call strength spotting, a practice in which leaders look for the behaviors that can drive positive outcomes. Tip number 4 is to avoid spoon-feeding solutions. The old cliche says it's more about eyeballs than emails, and this is so true when it comes to the position of a call center team leader. When we get bogged down with email and other distractions, it's so easy to go down the route spoon-feeding advisors the solutions to their questions. But a good team leader will take a step back for a moment and say to them, "Good question, what do you think?" When you ask this question time and time again, it initially takes up more time for the team leader, of course, because they're having long conversations with their advisors. But eventually you'll get to a point where you build a culture where advisors start coming up with their own answers for themselves. And this kind of goes back to a very old saying by Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who once said, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." And this principle is very much at work in this great tip. My 5th and final tip is to be prepared to have difficult conversations. Having difficult conversations with advisors regarding attendance issues perhaps, or internal conflicts or staff behavioral problems is one of the most tricky parts of the team leader role. Yet avoidance of these difficult conversations with an advisor will likely mean that the matter escalates into a much more severe issue than would have originally been the case. So you get to this point where the matter demands almost a serious and complex confrontation. So don't be shy of these confrontations and prepare for them well. And think of them maybe as a learning experience for how you can, and just draw conclusions for how you can better deal with the issues in the future. One final point is that to make sure that you don't miss the opportunity to have these conversations early on with advisors is that you want to improve your communication systems to spot these issues early on. To do this, we need to be ever present on the contact center floor, if that's still relevant to you, develop listening mechanisms, and start the day with a team huddle, whether that's a virtual one or in person. Having all this in place will be great for improving communication and looking after employee well-being. That's all from me. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon with even more customer service and call center related videos.